Have you ever lost something so deeply that it felt like your heart would never heal? A person, a dream, a chance you thought was yours, gone in an instant. You felt betrayed by life, by fate, by yourself. And in that moment, the world didn't just feel heavy, it felt impossible. What if I told you that the very thing you lost, the thing that shattered your peace, that made you question everything, is actually the reason your life is about to change forever? What if that heartbreak, that failure, that empty space you're feeling right now was not punishment at all, but a hidden blessing carefully placed for you by a plan far bigger than you can imagine? By the end of this video, you will realize that your pain, your loss, and your darkest moments were never meaningless. You will discover the secret reason why that emptiness was necessary, why that door closed, and why your heart had to break to prepare for something far greater than you could ever plan or dream. So stay with me. Every word you hear from here on will change the way you see your life, your loss, and your future. If you think this is just another video, think again, because what you learned today could change everything. Every loss is a hidden favor. The most important truth to understand is that every loss, no matter how heavy or painful, is actually a hidden favor. It may feel like your world has fallen apart, like someone betrayed you, like a dream has been taken away, or like life itself has turned against you. But what feels like an ending is often a beginning you cannot yet see. Sometimes life takes things away not to punish you, but to protect you. Sometimes what you think you cannot live without is actually holding you back from something far better. Think about it this way. Imagine reaching for something that seems perfect, but it is actually not good for you. You cannot see the harm it may cause, but life steps in and removes it before it brings suffering. That removal may sting at first. It may leave a hole in your heart, but over time you realize that what was taken from you made space for something far more meaningful, something that truly fits your life, your growth, and your happiness. Loss has a way of teaching your heart patience, strength, and faith. It shows you that your worth and your joy are not tied to people, things, or situations. It reminds you that life has a plan far bigger than what you can see, and that the struggles you face are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more ready to receive the blessings waiting for you. Pain is not a punishment, it is a message. It is a quiet, gentle way of guiding you toward growth and resilience. Every tear you shed, every moment you feel broken, is a step toward your better future. Sometimes the loss you mourn today is the very thing that opens the door to your next chapter, a chapter filled with opportunities, love, and peace that you could not have imagined while holding on to what was taken. When you begin to see loss this way, your heart begins to trust life more deeply. You begin to understand that endings are not really endings, but preparation for beginnings. What feels like emptiness is often the first step towards something much greater than you could ever plan or hope for on your own. The pain is temporary, but the wisdom, growth, and blessings it leads to can last a lifetime. Loss reveals hidden blessings. Sometimes the most beautiful things in life are hidden behind what we think of as loss. When something leaves your life, at first it feels like a hole, an emptiness, a wound that cannot be healed. You may ask yourself why this happened, why life felt unfair, or why you are the one who had to face this pain. But over time, if you look back, you will often realize that the very thing you thought was taken from you was actually a blessing in disguise. Think about the opportunities you lost, or the doors that closed. At first, they might have felt devastating. You may have believed that you were missing out on something vital, something that would define your happiness or your success. Yet, life has a way of redirecting you to a path that is far more aligned with your heart, far richer in meaning, and far safer than the path you thought you were supposed to take. What was taken from you may have been protecting you from something you could not yet see, something that could have caused pain, distraction, or even regret. Loss teaches you to trust the invisible. You begin to understand that life is not always about what you can hold in your hands or see with your eyes. Some of the most important blessings are hidden, waiting to be revealed only after a door closes, only after a plan falls apart, or only after a relationship ends. The people, places, or opportunities that leave may make space for something better, something that you would have never noticed if you were still clinging to what was taken. When you experience loss, your heart is forced to look beyond what is immediate and obvious. You learn to pay attention to the small, subtle gifts in life, the lessons, the new doors, the people who enter your life at the perfect time, the experiences that shape your soul in ways you cannot yet understand. The absence of what you thought you needed often becomes the presence of something far more precious. Freedom from what was not meant for you, space to grow, and the chance to discover blessings that are perfectly suited for your life. Loss also teaches humility. It reminds us that control is not ours to hold. We begin to see that life's design is far bigger than our plans and our desires. The things we lose are not failures. They are divine redirection. They are life's way of gently steering us toward what will truly fulfill our hearts, even if it is not what we expected or wanted at the time. Over time, the heart begins to see clearly. The people, opportunities, or moments we once mourned often reveal themselves as blessings that protected, guided, and nurtured us. Loss reveals that what seems painful today may be the foundation of your greatest happiness tomorrow. It is in this understanding that the heart begins to trust life again, to believe in the unseen, and to feel hope, knowing that every ending has the power to carry a hidden gift. When you can begin to see the blessings hidden inside your losses, your perspective shifts. You start to stop dwelling on what is gone and instead look forward to what life is preparing for you. You learn to wait patiently, to trust deeply, and to open your heart to the unexpected ways in which life can give you more than you ever imagined. What once felt like loss transforms into revelation, and the emptiness becomes space for mercy, guidance, and blessings that are far greater than what you could have chosen for yourself. Loss clears the path for what was meant for you. Sometimes life takes away things we deeply care about, things we believed were essential to our happiness, our success, or our sense of security. When this happens, it can feel devastating. It can feel like the world is against us, like we have been left alone to navigate a path filled with emptiness. But what life often does in these moments is far more meaningful than we realize. Loss is not just an ending, it is a clearing of the path for something that was always meant for us. Think about it. How often do we cling to what seems perfect, only to discover later that it was not meant for us at all. Life has a way of holding us back from things that could stunt our growth or lead us to disappointment. When doors close or opportunities disappear, it may feel like rejection or failure, but in reality, life is redirecting us towards something that aligns with our true purpose, our true calling, and our deepest happiness. The things that leave your life are not taken arbitrarily. They are making room for what will ultimately serve your heart, mind, and soul in ways you could not yet imagine. Loss teaches patience and trust. It teaches you to stop trying to force things that are not meant for you. It encourages you to let go of control and to allow life to guide you gently toward what is truly right. What feels like loss in the moment may later reveal itself as a protective act, a way for life to ensure that you do not get trapped in situations, relationships, or paths that could have caused suffering or stagnation. Often, when we look back, we see how certain losses were blessings in disguise. The opportunities we thought were essential, the people we believed we could not live without, the paths we were certain were meant for us. All of these sometimes leave to make way for something far greater. Life knows that there is something better waiting for you, something that fits your heart perfectly and aligns with your growth and your destiny. Loss also teaches us resilience. When a door closes, we are forced to face uncertainty and to step into the unknown. And in stepping into the unknown, we find strength, courage, and the ability to trust in the unseen. Life clears the path not to punish, but to guide. The absence of what you thought was necessary becomes the presence of what was always meant to be. When the heart begins to understand this, it experiences a quiet peace. You realize that what left your life was not a rejection, but a preparation. The space created by loss allows new opportunities, relationships, and experiences to enter that are far better suited for you. You learn that life has a perfect rhythm and timing, and that what is truly meant for you cannot be taken away. Every ending is not just an ending, it is the beginning of a path that has been waiting for you all along. Loss clears the path for your destiny. It frees you from what does not belong to you and makes room for what is divinely aligned. It teaches the heart to let go of attachment to the temporary and to trust the flow of life that is always leading you toward what is best for you. What seems like a painful departure today can turn out to be the clearest direction toward your truest, most meaningful future. Loss teaches dependence on the divine. When life takes something away, something you believed was essential, it can leave you feeling lost, alone, and uncertain. The people you relied on may no longer be there, the plans you counted on may collapse, and the security you trusted may vanish. In these moments, it is natural to feel fear, sadness, or frustration. But what loss truly does is teach a lesson that nothing else can teach. It shows you how to depend fully on the divine, on the unseen source of guidance, strength, and support that never fails. When everything else falls away, you are forced to look beyond what you can touch or see. You begin to realize that true support, true strength, and true stability do not come from people, positions, or possessions. They come from a higher power, a source of wisdom and love that knows what is best for you, even when you do not. Loss teaches you that life's true anchor is not in the temporary things you hold on to, but in the eternal, in the presence of the divine that surrounds you in every moment. It is often in the emptiness left by loss that the heart grows the deepest trust. When a friend disappears, a relationship ends, or an opportunity slips through your hands, it can feel like the world has abandoned you. Yet, in that very emptiness, you discover something far more reliable than anything you had been clinging to: the unshakable presence of the divine. Loss teaches you to turn inward, to connect with your faith, to lean on a source of guidance that never fails, and to find peace even when the world feels chaotic. When we depend on the divine through loss, our hearts learn patience, humility, and surrender. We stop demanding that life bend to our will, and we start trusting that the timing, wisdom, and plan beyond our understanding are perfect. The more we rely on this divine presence, the lighter our burdens feel, and the more we begin to see that what is meant for us will always reach us in the right way at the right time. Loss also frees the heart from attachments that are not meant to last. It reminds us that no person, opportunity, or possession is truly permanent, and that holding on to them too tightly can keep us from what is best. When we release our grip and place our trust in the divine, we find that our needs are met in ways far greater than we could have imagined. The absence of what we once depended on becomes an invitation to discover a source of support, love, and provision that never runs out. Through loss, we also gain clarity. We begin to see who and what truly matters, what is permanent and what is fleeting. We learn to direct our energy, focus, and devotion toward the source that will never leave us, never fail us, and always guide us toward what is best. When life teaches this lesson, it transforms fear into trust, despair into hope, and loneliness into deep connection. Eventually, the heart learns a profound truth: the divine is sufficient, and nothing else is required to feel secure, supported, or loved. Loss teaches dependence not as a limitation, but as freedom. It liberates the soul from illusions, attachments, and false reliance, and it plants the seeds of unwavering faith and resilience. What feels like absence today is actually a gentle, invisible hand guiding you towards strength, peace, and the certainty that you are never truly alone. Loss strengthens patience and faith. When life takes something precious from us, whether it is a relationship, a dream, or a long-awaited opportunity, our immediate reaction is often pain, confusion, or even anger. We question why this happened, why it had to happen to us, and why we cannot hold on to what we loved. But what loss truly does is teach us lessons that nothing else can teach: lessons about patience, resilience, and the strength of faith. Loss challenges the heart. It puts us in situations where we cannot control the outcome, where we are forced to surrender, and where we are reminded that life does not always follow the path we imagined. In these moments, we realize that the things we long for, the things we cling to, are not what define us. What defines us is our ability to endure, to trust, and to remain steadfast even when the world seems to be collapsing around us. Patience is born in these trials. It is not a simple waiting, it is a deep, intentional endurance, a willingness to hold the heart together even when it feels broken. Loss teaches us to slow down, to breathe, and to acknowledge that not everything is meant to happen on our timeline. Every moment of waiting, every tear, every feeling of emptiness is shaping our hearts, teaching us resilience, and preparing us for a future we cannot yet see. Faith grows alongside patience. When life strips away what we thought was essential, we are forced to look for strength beyond ourselves. We learn that hope does not depend on circumstances or people, but on the quiet certainty that life, guided by wisdom beyond our understanding, has a plan for us. Every loss is an opportunity to trust more deeply, to rely less on what is fleeting, and to anchor ourselves in the knowledge that what is truly meant for us cannot be lost. The beauty of this process is that it is gradual. At first, patience feels impossible and faith feels weak, but with every challenge, the heart becomes stronger. The more we experience loss and endure it with trust, the more we discover that our capacity for patience is greater than we imagined, and that our faith can sustain us through the darkest moments. What once felt like unbearable pain slowly transforms into quiet strength, a resilience rooted in trust and understanding. Loss also teaches perspective. It shows us that what we thought was essential may have been a distraction, and that the true blessings often come after the hardships. It helps us recognize that every challenge, every setback, and every moment of grief is shaping us into a version of ourselves that is more patient, more grateful, and more connected to the source of guidance and love that never abandons us. Ultimately, loss strengthens the heart, not by giving it what it wants, but by showing it what it truly needs. It builds endurance, teaches humility, and deepens faith. It reminds us that the heart is stronger than we think, that hope can survive the hardest storms, and that life's challenges are not punishments, but invitations to grow, to trust, and to prepare for blessings that are far greater than what we could have imagined. When we embrace loss with this understanding, patience becomes natural and faith becomes unshakable. What seemed like an ending becomes the moment where our hearts are forged, ready to receive the life, opportunities, and joy that are waiting for us in ways we could never have planned. The pain is temporary, but the strength, resilience, and trust we gain last a lifetime. Loss purifies the heart. Loss has a way of touching the deepest corners of the heart. When we lose something or someone we love, it feels like a piece of us has been taken away. It leaves a void, a space that feels empty and heavy. But this emptiness, as painful as it may feel, is not meaningless. In truth, it is one of life's most gentle and profound ways of purifying the heart. When everything familiar is taken away, the distractions and attachments we hold on to are revealed. We begin to see the illusions we have been living under, the false sense of security that comes from clinging to people, things, or situations that were never permanent. Loss exposes these attachments and allows the heart to release them. It teaches us that true strength, peace, and fulfillment do not come from what we can hold in our hands, but from what we carry in our hearts, the love, trust, and faith that remain even when everything else is gone. Pain has a unique way of making us honest with ourselves. When our world shakes, we are forced to confront what truly matters. The comforts we relied on, the routines we depended on, and the certainties we thought were unshakable, all of them are tested in moments of loss. And in this testing, the heart begins to shed what is unnecessary. The things we thought defined us are no longer our anchors. Instead, we find clarity about who we are what we value, and what will truly sustain us through life. Loss also teaches humility. It reminds us that we are not in control of everything, that life is larger than our plans, and that wisdom often lies beyond our understanding. In the absence of what we thought was essential, we learn to lean on patience, trust, and the inner strength we may not have known we possessed. The heart becomes tender, more aware of what is fleeting, and more appreciative of what is lasting. In this purification, gratitude begins to bloom in ways it could not before. The things that remain, however small or subtle, are seen with new clarity and value. We start to notice the small acts of kindness, the moments of quiet peace, and the opportunities for growth that were always present but overlooked. Loss creates space for this awareness to grow, allowing the heart to receive blessings that it could not have recognized before. The heart, once weighed down by attachments and expectations, begins to breathe again. Loss clears the clutter of life, making room for spiritual growth, emotional resilience, and deeper self-understanding. It teaches us that the most important possessions are not material, and the most meaningful relationships are not those we can control, but those that nourish our souls and align with our growth. When we embrace the purification that comes with loss, our hearts become lighter, more sincere, and more ready to receive life as it truly is. Pain transforms into clarity, emptiness transforms into space, and what was once sorrowful transforms into preparation. The heart learns to hold less tightly, to love more purely, and to trust life even when it cannot be seen clearly. In the end, loss does not destroy, it cleanses. It is one of life's most powerful teachers, gently reminding us that every ending has purpose, every absence carries wisdom, and every tear has a way of softening the heart, making it ready to receive the blessings that await us. Just beyond the horizon, loss inspires reflection and growth. When we lose something deeply meaningful, our first instinct is often pain, confusion, or even anger. We ask ourselves questions that have no easy answers. Why did this happen? Why me? Why now? But in the midst of the struggle, loss carries a quiet, powerful lesson. It inspires reflection and growth. Loss forces us to pause. It makes us stop running on autopilot and take a hard look at our lives, our choices, and our priorities. When everything we relied on is gone, we begin to see clearly what we have been holding on to, what we have been neglecting, and what truly matters. This reflection is not always comfortable, but it is essential. It is in these moments that we confront our own hearts honestly, seeing our fears, weaknesses, and desires in a way we never could during times of comfort. Through reflection, we discover growth. The pain of loss becomes a teacher, revealing the parts of us that need healing, patience, and strength. We start to understand ourselves more deeply, our values, our boundaries, and our capacity for love, compassion, and resilience. The very moments that felt unbearable become stepping stones toward becoming a stronger, wiser, and more self-aware person. Loss also expands perspective. It teaches us to see life beyond our own immediate desires and disappointments. We begin to understand that not everything we want is good for us, and not every path we imagined was meant for us. The heartbreak and emptiness push us to think bigger, to reflect more deeply, and to appreciate the lessons hidden in every setback. What seemed like a failure may actually be a redirection, and what felt like an end may actually be a beginning we cannot yet see. In this process, humility emerges naturally. Loss reminds us that we are not in control of everything, that life has its own rhythm and timing, and that every experience, joyful or painful, is shaping us in ways we cannot yet comprehend. We learn to let go of pride, ego, and unrealistic expectations, and we start to embrace the journey of growth, no matter how difficult it may be. Reflection through loss also deepens empathy. When we have experienced pain ourselves, we become more compassionate toward others who are struggling. We understand that everyone is carrying their own burdens, facing their own endings and beginnings. This awareness allows us to connect more deeply with people, to support others with kindness, and to recognize the shared journey of the human experience. Over time, the heart begins to see that growth was always the purpose of the pain. The loss was never meaningless. It was a mirror reflecting back our own potential, our own resilience, and the strength that was waiting to emerge from within. What felt like devastation at first gradually becomes a foundation for transformation, a platform upon which a better, wiser, and more grounded version of ourselves can stand. The beauty of loss is that it shapes us in ways comfort never could. It forces introspection, encourages self-awareness, and nurtures growth that is authentic and lasting. It teaches us to navigate life with greater wisdom, gratitude, and courage. By embracing loss as a teacher rather than an enemy, we allow ourselves to evolve, to heal, and to move forward with a heart that is stronger, calmer, and more prepared for the blessings that await us. Loss cultivates gratitude and perspective. Loss has a quiet way of teaching the heart lessons that nothing else can. When we experience the departure of someone we love, the end of a dream, or the closing of a door we never wanted to close, it can feel like life is unfair, like the weight of the world is pressing down on us. But over time, loss reveals a powerful truth. It cultivates gratitude and shifts our perspective in ways that comfort and success never could. When we lose something, our attention is drawn to what remains. The things, people, and moments we may have taken for granted begin to shine in ways we never noticed before. We start to see the blessings that were always present but hidden beneath routine, familiarity, or distraction. Loss creates space for awareness. It reminds us to pause and recognize the value of what we still have, the quiet support of friends, the strength we discover within ourselves, the small joys that make life meaningful. This shift in perspective is profound. We begin to understand that life is not only about what is lost, but also about what continues, what survives, and what nurtures our growth. The heart learns to see beyond immediate disappointment and pain. It begins to notice that even in endings, there are opportunities, lessons, and moments of beauty that we may have overlooked before. Loss teaches us to look deeper, to appreciate the subtleties, and to cherish life in a more intentional and mindful way. Gratitude naturally follows perspective. When the heart sees clearly, it cannot help but feel appreciation for the things that remain. Even in emptiness, we find richness. Even in sorrow, we find lessons. We begin to realize that what we once mourned may have been protecting us, guiding us, or preparing us for something greater. Every challenge, every heartbreak, and every closed door carries a hidden gift, and recognizing these gifts cultivates a sense of gratitude that is steady, resilient, and deeply nourishing. Loss also teaches humility. It reminds us that we are not in control of everything, that life has its own wisdom, and that every situation, whether joyful or painful, serves a purpose we may not immediately understand. Through this humility, the heart becomes more open, less attached to fleeting desires, and more capable of appreciating life as it truly is. We learn that gratitude is not just a response to comfort, but a skill cultivated through awareness, reflection, and trust in life's greater plan. Over time, the combination of perspective and gratitude transforms the heart. Pain begins to coexist with peace. Emptiness gives way to awareness, and endings become beginnings in disguise. What we once thought of as misfortune is seen as guidance. We begin to recognize that even in loss, life continues to provide, protect, and nurture us. Every absence, every farewell, every disappointment holds within it a lesson in seeing life fully, appreciating the unseen, and trusting the flow of existence. Ultimately, loss cultivates a heart that is stronger, calmer, and wiser. It teaches us to find beauty in the ordinary, to cherish what we have, and to trust that life has a rhythm beyond what we can control. By embracing this perspective, we learn to live with gratitude not only for what we gain, but also for what we lose, because every loss carries within it a gift, a lesson, and an opportunity for growth that can shape our lives in the most profound ways. When we reach this understanding, our hearts transform. We no longer fear loss because we see it as a natural part of life's unfolding, a teacher, a guide, and a reminder that blessings often come in ways we never expected. The sorrow fades, and what remains is clarity, trust, and a gratitude that strengthens every step forward. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to breathe and let it all sink in. Every loss you have experienced, the heartbreak, the failure, the door that closed unexpectedly, was never meaningless. It was shaping you, protecting you, and preparing you for the blessings that are waiting for you just beyond your sight. Look back at your life, at the moments that hurt the most, and try to see them differently. Those tears, those sleepless nights, those moments of despair, they were all quietly teaching you resilience, patience, and faith. They were clearing the path for something far greater than what you could have imagined. The beauty of life is that endings are not really endings, they are beginnings in disguise. Every chapter that closed created space for a new one to open. Every loss has hidden gifts, and every moment of emptiness has been an invitation to grow, to trust, and to see the world with a deeper, more grateful heart. Carry this truth with you. What feels like loss today may be the reason you experience your greatest joy tomorrow. The divine has a plan beyond what your eyes can see, and even in the darkest moments, there is guidance, mercy, and love surrounding you. Trust it. Lean into it. Let your heart rest in it. So as you move forward, remember this. Your pain is not permanent, your setbacks are not failures, and your losses are not punishments. They are the very tools that shape your strength, your wisdom, and your heart. Embrace them, learn from them, and step into the life that was always waiting for you, the life that your heart was truly meant to live. Because the truth is simple yet profound. What was lost was never gone. It was a gift in disguise, a step toward your destiny, and the beginning of blessings you cannot yet imagine.